And welcome to the Sports Drift on a Tuesday afternoon. I figured I'd kick it off with some football talk. I'm Matt Levine, 954 Sports. Happy to have you aboard with me. Rainy, thunderstorms, lightning, all that stuff in my neck of the woods. Hope it's better in yours. And I hope you're certainly enjoying NFL training camps. Of course, there's a word that I use loosely. Maybe I shouldn't. And I know some, like the great Morgan Freeman, don't.
Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing.
Okay. You know, it's one of those movies that no matter what, I keep watching and watching and watching. And I don't take his word for it. Brilliant actor. Red, the name of his character. And that movie, I'm happy he and Tim Robbins, Andy, made it down to Zewantaneo and lived happily ever after. But I use hope. I beat it up and I abuse it through training camp, because if you're a New York Giants fan, after what's gone on the last several years, you certainly cling to that word hope. And with hope comes number 26. Whether you like it or not, officially, unofficially, the face of the franchise, this young man right here, Mr. Saquon Barkley. A spectacular rookie season. Set the NFL on fire. Set a handful of rookie records, franchise ones, and NFL ones, like the NFL record for the most yards by a rookie from scrimmage, led the league in that category, 2028. For the Giants, rookie records included most touchdowns, 15, most rushing TDs, 11, most rushing yards by a rookie, 1,307. Saquon good enough to finish behind Ezekiel Elliott, who's Cabo Wabo right now, right? He led the league with just over 1,420-something rushing yards last year. Bet you can watch those Saquon highlights forever. We'll see if we can get to some more B-roll as we talk here on 954sports.com about Saquon Barkley and all he means to the New York Giants and the hope he brings the fans. Now, in addition to those 1,307 yards, every time he touched the ball, he averaged exactly 5 yards a carry. Spectacular. You knew in the opening game of the season he could run the football. First carry, 68 yards, over 100 yards, and what you knew would become a trend for the Giants last year. They'd lose a nail-biter to Jacksonville, 20-15. Second week of the season, you knew he could, I promised you some more B-roll, he could catch the football. Because in the loss to the Eagles, he had, and that loss was by less than a touchdown, 14 catches. I'm sorry, lost to Dallas in week 2. He had 14 catches. He would finish the season with 91 catches, 721 yards, and 4 TDs. Just spectacular. Everything the kid did on the football field, he had the Midas touch. Offensive Player of the Year, first team All-Professional, right? And so on and so forth. And of course, a lot of the focus with the New York Giants on this offseason, it started with OBJ and his trade to the Cleveland Browns. Then as you get into training camp, the receiving core suddenly decimated by injuries. Sterling Shepard, Corey Coleman, suspension. Not an injury to Golden Tate, the newcomer. Talk about a consummate professional. Expect big things from the 31-year-old, but he may not play 16. He may be playing 12. We'll see what happens with him appealing that suspension before week 1, which is hard to believe, but it's in reach. It is close in the sights as we scope it out and we get ready for another campaign for the New York Giants and such high hopes despite a really, really crazy offseason, to say the least. And despite the injuries that have decimated that receiving unit, I still have hope. And the Giants also, with an influx of talent, a huge draft, a trio of draft picks. The man in the middle claiming most of the headlines, the potential guy who takes over for Eli Manning with Daniel Jones. You see Lawrence to the left, Baker, who joins a heralded defensive secondary, or I should say, a very curious defensive secondary. A lot of talent. He comes over with the other kid, Ballantyne, and Love from Notre Dame. Get some draft picks there for the secondary to bolster it, to get some strength and numbers. Also Sam Beal. He's been injured throughout training camp, but don't forget about him. A supplemental draft pick out in his rookie year last year with a shoulder injury. Say that 10 times fast. See what happens. I said it twice. Barely made it. But he may be healthy enough for the regular season. So you've got a lot of question marks with the infusion of youth, particularly, again, in that defensive secondary. But all hope lies around number 26. Do I believe in the sophomore slump? Probably not as much as the Madden jinx, formerly the Sports Illustrated jinx. Interesting. That was the jinx growing up. That was the old school jinx. And Madden kind of took over. They're still both respected jinxes. Sophomore slump depends on the player, depends on the system, depends geographically where they play. So many different factors. Saquon, I think, is one of those rare guys that can rise above a sophomore slump. I do not see him hitting a wall. Instead, I see him taking on the role of a leader on this team in more ways than one, off the field as well as on the field. And one of the things I like so much about this kid is how eloquently he speaks to the press. This is him this summer at a charity event talking to the reporters. Take a listen.
Taking more of a role of being the player and everyone focusing on, and the opportunity goes around me, or being a leader.
There you have it. There you have it. Short and sweet. It's going to take the opportunity to be a leader. Man up and be a leader. And he's one of those guys that represents that franchise so well, an ambassador. We've gotten lucky over the years with guys like Eli. For so long now, over a decade and a half, he has been the face of the New York Giants, and he has been a true professional. Interestingly enough, I love that Hall of Fame ceremony this week. Talk about true professionals and defensive backs. I thought they all spoke so well, so eloquently, and it made me think of Eli. Eli's going in. Saquon, we've got a long way to go, but right now, he's on the right path for a gold jacket. We shall see. We shall see. But again, have hope. Don't be afraid to use the word. In fact, I'm hopeful that this show is going to work out. I know it will. We're beyond hope on that. We'll take a quick break. I'll come back. We'll take your calls. Read you some of the emails. Talk a little Saquon. Talk football. Talk sophomore slumps. We can talk baseball, whatever you want. I'm Matt Levine. It is 954sports.com. Back right after this.